Folks, let me get your attention. We'll look at probably the last thing we need in Adobe Edge to make this entire project work, with the idea of making a portfolio of your work in which it's all interactive. You can click on things, make things happen, so on and so forth. Yes? What we're going to talk about today is something in Adobe Edge called symbols, which are a way of taking something on a timeline, an animation or what have you, with actions involved, mouse swipes, clicks, and putting it into a separate place where it can be accessed individually. And this is very important if you want to do things like have the ability to click on one thing and make something else happen. This is a very simple layout I have here. This is where we oftentimes start. I have a 1024 by 768 canvas to work on, which is called the stage, the first place we're starting from. You know what? I should probably rename that. I'm going to call this Kid Pics. And I have some pictures I have taken from stuff I have around, just actually, truthfully, some kid pics. To keep things organized, I made myself a folder. Probably have it called Kid something, Kid Images, and here they are. Just some images, and I want some way to make a web page where people can click on each one and they can come to the foreground, go back. So I imported them all over here into the libraries we've talked about before, which isn't too tricky. I hit the plus key, I select them, they go in there, and then I start working on one of them. I'm gonna do one from scratch, and I'm gonna show you about the point of reusing it. The point of being able to reuse what you do is that you can save yourself a lot of time and energy in terms of animating and making stuff happen. We'll take an image here, and this is our timeline as it stands right now. It has three what are called symbols on it. A symbol is basically an animated timeline that I've converted into its own package by just doing something as simple as convert to symbol. If I were to take another image here, and I bet you this one hasn't been used yet. I'll zoom out a bit. This is on the timeline you see right there. And if I come up with an action for it, first off, I'm going to center it roughly, and then I'll scale it to where I want it to be. Probably something around there. Let's zoom in a little bit. Pull this down. Okay, and let me jigger it like that. That's probably where I want it to end up when it's all zoomed up full. So I'll go down here. Actually, we'll go to the 2-second mark, why not? And I'm going to keyframe its scale probably. Let's say right there. Okay, now I'll go back and I'll scale it to how big I want it to be when it starts out. Yeah, which is probably around there. And we'll scale it bigger to do it over here. And we have that happening. I need to start at a different place though, so let's move the whole thing over here to with these four, and let's see, where's this going to end up now? End up there. I'll move it back to here. And we have the rough action that we want it to take. Start there and end up there. And like these other ones, they're at 50% transparency. So I'm going to keyframe this value. I'll actually enter it. I'll just put it to 50% like that and key it. Key it. Is there a key there? Yes, opacity. And I'll go to the end and make sure it's at 100%. like that. Okay, so now it does this, and what I want it to do is I want it to, on a click, I want it to zoom up, and when the mouse leaves it, I want it to go backwards. So let's add the actions for that, which I'll do here. Click, playback, play, stage. We are on, I think that's all we need. I hit enter, yes. And when it clicks, it's going to play. And then I'll do mouse leave, playback, play reverse, stage, enter. Now, I have all that there. This is where the symbol part comes in. There's a lot on the timeline there, and if I did this on each one, we'd have it all fighting for clicks and what have you. I'm going to right mouse click this and pick convert to symbol. When I do that, you're going to see something else add over here, and you'll see all that stuff disappear, and I'll call this RAF SOF symbol, just so I know what it is. And autoplay, I don't want it to autoplay. I want it to only play when it's told from the timeline, so I'll turn that off. Okay, now you saw, looked like it deleted all that stuff. It didn't. It put it actually in another div, which is what all of these have too. These are all set up to be symbols. What that means is that this will now work with the animation we talked about. Let me preview it in the browser. Okay, so if we click it, it should come up, and if we leave it, it should play back. Click it to come up, leave it to play back. Let me close all these. Where the animation now exists is inside of it. If I right mouse click, I can edit the symbol, and note here that we've gone down one level. Like this is actually a div inside another div in the web page. So the animation still exists. It's all right here. It's just stored in a separate packet called a symbol. Why this is advantageous is it means I can reuse stuff. I mean, amongst other reasons. It also keeps things nice and neat. If I go to stage, I go back to where I was. Let's take another image, but we'll reuse a lot of what we did there. I'm actually going to, you should see, I should have all my symbols over here. I can duplicate a symbol. I right mouse click it, duplicate, and it's making me a copy of that symbol. It's not on the timeline yet. I'll pull it out to the timeline. And now this is literally an exact copy of that, but it has a different name, which is very important. I'm going to position it probably where I'd want to start, which is over here. And now let's go into it. We will edit the symbol. Okay, we have that original image in it, but we don't want that image. We want a different image. Probably this one. Let's see if I'm right about this. And you'll see, if I'm here, as long as that says RAF SOF symbol, I'm editing inside that symbol, not inside the stage. So we want this image here to do the same thing that other thing did. I can actually cut and paste, which is pretty convenient. I'm going to take all of this stuff here, and I'm going to copy it, right mouse copy. And I'm going to go up here, and I'm going to right mouse paste. Bam. Now, the other image is taking that exact same action. See that? Now it's a matter of lining up, which makes things a lot easier. First off, I don't want, if we zoom in now, you'll see a little more. I don't want this image at all, so I'm going to close the eye for right now so we're not even seeing it. And I want this image to be down here, like that. And let's see where it ends. We want it to end there, like that. Boom. Actions we don't have yet, but I can also paste those. Can I just get away? If I right mouse click and I go to paste special, oh, doesn't have them. So I'm going to go over here. I'm going to copy, Then I'm going to go here, right mouse, now it should have paste actions. I have those actions up there. I can now ditch this layer. Okay. Now if this worked and we go back to the stage, we should have all 5 images here, and when we click on each one, they should go up, and if we come off it, it should come down without having to duplicate a lot of stuff. Let's see if we're right about that. I will preview in browser. And let's see if this worked. If I click it, it goes up. If I leave it, it goes back down. If I click this one, it goes up. If I leave it, it goes back down. You see I get some problems when things go awry, but I can fine tune those. And you'll see that all of these follow that general model. Up, up, by reusing the symbol. Plus, if I want to, I can even export symbols somewhere or another. Export there, so you can use them in other compositions. So the idea is you could set up a complex action or something happening and going on with a bunch of other things going on with it, clicks or swipes or what have you, and then you could like use that over and over again. To get this to a full page, I'm not that far from what I'd need to do. I'd really just have to put in a title, which I can do here as a new text layer. We'll say kid pics. I mean, obviously you pick your font and what have you, but I'm good with that as is. Let's zoom in on that. And what I would want is I would want that all the way in the back. Let's zoom back out here. Oh, where's my, yeah, there we go. Good. Let's try something like this. We will increase that size. I could sort of live with that, I think. I might want to center it a bit more, but I would also animate this coming on. So let's just do a motion path animation with this, and we'll position it to start here. Actually, that should key. Let's see if that'll do it. Key, good. And I'll go out to 1.5 seconds, and I'll key it coming over here. And we should now have that action happening. And I want this to be all the way in the back, because I want the pictures to, if they're clicked on, to go on top of it. Let's try a preview of that. Assuming it wasn't so chunky, it would do that. And then if I click on one of these, they should go right over the top of it. Yes. And fade in and fade out. Okay, what are your thoughts on that? This should be the big tool that helps you create a web page that you can put all your artwork on and interact with, okay? Give it a shot.